welcome you all to Lamo, and Mr. Tenzin would be here giving us a little talk about his journey through the Himalayas up to the northeast. And as you know, he's from Dharamsala, he's of Tibetan origin, and the rest is up to him whatever he says.
Okay.
Aaron, when the clock starts, can we close that light?
Yeah.
This light.
Yeah. Just that. No, and you can keep these on. Yes, you keep on.
This one?
Yeah.
The back ones. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Is that good?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the
it's better, yeah.
main subject is on the screen, not me. Okay. So Tangbo Thoma test dile ani Jule they have Himalaya something test dile. My name is Tenzin Describes. I'm a Tibetan writer and activist based in Dharamshala, as introduced. I'm born and brought up in India. I feel more Indian. I'm as much Tibetan. I fight for independence of Tibet, India's security. Okay, so today
Can
I
you have one request?
Yes.
Move your chair a little bit.
more.
Yeah, because you're right in front of the pillar, so none of us can see you. Sorry.
Yeah, ठीक है.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to do this interesting presentation, and the other title is the Indian Himalayas and Tibet, and so this is based on my travel last year from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh, and this is physically is about 20,000 kilometers of borders. But officially, as we look at different borders with Tibet, it's about 4,300 kilometers of borders. My first 1.2 notice is to say that I'm speaking here as a writer, as an activist, and also as a traveler. I am not a researcher. I wanted to make it very clear, I'm not a researcher. So what I'm speaking about here, I will be speaking as what I'd seen, as what people had told to me. And there are many interesting facts and figures that may be intriguing or maybe something completely new to you. And another important point to note before I start is I did this presentation in Arunachal Pradesh in the month of August. And in the month of May this year, I did this presentation in Kargil campus of Ladakh University. And what I found is people in Arunachal Pradesh have no idea about Ladakh. और लद्दाखी लोगों को अरुणाचल या कालिम्पोंग, दार्जिलिंग, सिक्किम की नाथुला border पे कुछ पता नहीं है. So I say I have this great privilege of connecting the Himalayas. And in between also, I will be speaking about Munshari, Pithoragarh, Darchula, and so many places in between. Okay, so I'm starting here. Of course, now this is the complete map of Ladakh as claimed by India, and of course there are certain parts which are under Chinese occupation or also under Pakistan occupation, but basically this is Ladakh, and what we are actually where we are accessible is the Kargil district and the Leh district, of course, much of it, and then Baltistan. 4 villages are on the India side, and started from here, and all of you know perhaps more about Leh than me, and so I do not need to start. But when I speak in Arunachal Pradesh, I talk about Leh, Ladakh, and so much more. I started from there and Tiksa Monastery. People said to me that both Tiksa Monastery and Leh Akhar were based on cartographic images of the Potala Palace in Tibet. They said to me. On the journey last year, I was traveling with a film based on the life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The film I screened in places all over the Himalayas for 120 times, and one of the most spectacular one was under the shadow of Tixan Monastery, and they gave us the space and we did the film screening. I met this artist, this artist, Sonamla is somewhere here. And what I found unique thing about him, and at the time I visited Lamo, this was in August last year. He's doing a traditional Ladakhi style idol making, but his padding, mixture, all of it is very modern. And therefore I thought this is such a great development in the art realm. This is in Nubra Diskit Gompa. Here we see a scroll issued by the Pension Lama, and this is a rare Gelupa sect monastery in Nubra Valley. And this is almost about 250 years old kind of a scroll. At that time, such kind of scrolls of orders were passed on from Tashilumba Monastery in Tibet. I'm now standing at Thang, the last India-Pakistan border, and behind us that space is today's Pakistan. But Muhammad, who insists on telling me that he's of Tibetan origin, though his beard is much longer and whiter than me, he was saying that he is Baldi tribe, and he very sadly says that only 4 villages are on the India side, and now because half of their people are on the other side, which is on the Pakistan control, and much of the Aryan population of Baldistan are on the Pakistan side, and he says that ab hum wahan nahi ja sakte, and wahan ke log yahan nahi aa sakte. And this is a very, very important emotion and sentiment and politics I want to present here. And this partition that had happened, in Ladakh, Lahore, Spiti, Kinnaur, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan, Arunachal Pradesh, this is a partition no one talks about. Everybody's life has been partitioned. यहाँ के लोग पहले वहाँ जाते थे ट्रेड के लिए, शादियाँ के लिए, और रिजी रिवाजों के लिए, और पिलग्रिम्स के लिए, और वहाँ के लोग भी यहाँ आते थे. अब नहीं जा सकते दोनों तरफ. And this is a very strong sentiment he was telling me, almost crying, कि अब हम वहाँ नहीं जा सकते. And I relate to this because I am myself a Tibetan refugee. This is in Da village, and people do say, and it's written right behind me, Aryan village, and he was telling me that people say that he and other people are called the Aryan race people in Ladakh, and therefore Da and Hanu villages on the Indus River valley all across. There are many such villages, and there are ways of construction of houses and the village developments are very, very interesting and very different from things that are seen in around Ladakh. So of course, Dahanu women, they usually dress in flowers. It may not be too interesting to you because you've seen them around, but for Arunachali people, this is like, aise bhi karte hain, that kind of a thing. I met with Sona Bangchila, one of the most important members of Ladakhi community, as an engineer, social engineer, and we had a lot of discussion about Tibet and Ladakh. Now I'm going to go a little back into history, and some of the images, these images, right below this there is one, there are many such images which are half-built in Ladakh, Kashmir and different other places after Kanishka's time, which would be after 1st century right up to 7th, 8th, even up to 9th century. But there are many artists here. You will see that there is an aesthetic divide, that the Buddhists in Ladakh, Lahore, Spiti are not able to relate to such images, Buddhist deities, as Buddhists as such. To a point that in certain places these are called devils, bhood in some places. So this aesthetic device is such an interesting factor to understand art history and also Buddhism in such area. And this is Karzekhar Maitreya Buddha image on the way to Zanskar after Kargil. This is in Karzekhar, and this is on Mulbek, just on the roadside. There is a small temple, and inside that is the Buddhist mural. And this will, both these images will remind you, if you think of the Bamiyan Buddhas. They may not be exactly contemporary, but the main influences are perhaps the same. And in Zanskar, I saw such kind of images. And if this had been a nicely made Buddhist image that are created in modern times, perhaps this wouldn't be on the roadside. It would have been in a monastery and nicely gilded. But इनका कोई देखभाल करने वाला नहीं है, बिल्कुल रोड साइड पे है. And this is in Sunny, in Padum, in Zanskar. Here, look at how well decorated and well kept they are, and look at these images. These are almost about 1,000 or 1,500 year old kind of rock arts, rock statues made at that time. More. This is in Kelong. My friend Rajesh, Rajesh's uncle, this is in that place. And in some places, these are called booth. Dindu dongde relani, chuche the pasha, dongde lagar that dindu. Yeah, that dindu thing, but the looking shibuchi. This is actually the Buddha and Shariputra and Nundaputra. Same kind of images that are now seen in modern day Buddhist temples and monasteries. Now, if that was old, I'm going to take you further in olden times, and it is my